Welcome back to Einstein Media Center, your one-stop shop for all unnecessary media dissection. Today we are joined by New Jersey indie rock band, The Spins. Thank you guys for joining. If you wouldn't mind, would you just all go around and introduce who you are and what you bring to the band?
I'm Nick. I'm the singer and rhythm guitarist.
I'm Phil. I'm the bassist.
I'm Jimmy. I play lead guitar.
I'm Freddie. I am the drummer.
Very cool. And so could you give a little bit of background about how the band got together and what's brought you all up into this point in 2025?
Yeah, well, we started back in 2016. So Nick already kind of had a band, wrote a bunch of songs through high school and stuff. And then me and him worked together at Mountain Creek Water Park in New Jersey. We were lifeguards. We met in our training class there, kind of connected. And then Nick actually booked a show that summer, but didn't have like a band yet. He just booked the show. Just comes up to me one day and he's like, "Yo, I booked a show, but I need a band. Like, do you want to play?" And I was like, "Hell yeah," because I always wanted to be in a band, but never had a band before, never played an actual show myself. So then we practiced, played the show. We brought on Jimmy, who he knew from high school. And after the show, we were just kind of like, "That's cool. We should like record the songs." And then it just kept rolling from there.
So I gotta ask, what gave you the gall to book a show without a band?
Oh, if you know Nick, then it adds up.
Well, I had actually been asked by some friends to perform at a little party, and I said I would do it, but that I didn't want to perform alone, like perform acoustic, because at a party it's just awkward.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be better to get like a little band together, even if it was just for the night, just to appease the request. And the funny part is, after we actually all agreed and practiced a couple of nights before it, we went and I think we got through 2 songs before we got a noise complaint and had to shut it down.
Sounds about right.
So
I feel like that's like maybe a good thing. Takes a little pressure off, and now people want you to come back for a little more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Always that.
We at least got to play Santeria.
Uh-huh.
A classic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's that's where you guys started, and you've released a number of projects up until this point, and we're off the heels of your brand new album. So can you talk a little bit about maybe the writing and recording of that album and how that's maybe differed from the previous efforts you guys have released?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the newest record.
Yeah.
The
It's
newest
been a big difference.
definitely. I mean, in a lot of ways, mostly in the quality and time spent. I suppose. I think this is the most we've invested time wise and monetary wise, and just all around. Like, it's the most we've put the most love into it in a lot of ways. Compared to the other ones, but not to say that we didn't love them or care about them as much. It was more so just about a moment in time trying to capture it, whereas this most recent one was more like trying to embody the entirety of the work we've created so far, so we could kind of round it all up. Like, before, it was like, okay, well, we need to put out a record, so let's toss together these songs and make it as good as possible. But this most recent one was more like, okay, we've been doing this. Like, we owe it to ourselves and our listeners to invest and make something that's truly ours.
And plus, I mean, when we started making this record, we didn't even know how much time it was going to take, because we started working with a new producer, and there was a lot of months of pre-production, just Zoom calls, like, "Hey, send me all your demos. Which ones do you guys think are the best? Okay, these are the ones that I think are the best. These are what we need to extrapolate on." Then we focus on those for a little while. And then he's like, "Okay, this is good, but it's not repetitive enough. Like, repeat more, add this part, try this part. This is the best sounding part. Make that the chorus." All these things throughout these 8 songs. It was really 7. And the 8th one kind of came really late in the process. But yeah, it was just like, we worked with Ayad Al. How do you say his name?
Yeah.
Ayad Al Adami
Yeah.
out of Diamond City in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had done a couple projects before with various producers, and always just feel like working with a new producer brings out a lot of new creativity, you know? So we wanted to try working with someone else. We've been in touch with him for a while. So we hit him up for this project. And he really just brought a lot more care to the record, pushed us to put a lot more time and thought into it and like make them the best they could be. So we just spent a lot more time, a lot more effort on just like refining the songs, making them cohesive and fit together and be the best they could be, like way more time than any other project. And I think that definitely paid off.
Yeah, definitely. And now with this record, it seems to have taken a bit of a stylistic shift from some of the previous works that you've done. A lot of it was in the past, and there's still elements on the new record, but in the past, very emo influenced, and in that world, now a little bit more indie rock, kind of reminiscent of like a lot of the bands from the early 2010s. Can you speak a little bit about what inspired that stylistic change and maybe how that impacted your writing process?
I think the biggest impact there was the fact that that was already kind of our target, like, audience base in terms of like the covers we did at bars and stuff. I think doing that era of music and covering it, not only because we are all personally, affected by that era, and like we all love that era of music. I think it also just kind of came out in the fact that we were playing a lot of bar gigs and doing a lot of cover songs. And also, I think that was just naturally where we wanted to be. And I think that even in the past, maybe we were probably we were kind of at odds and creatively in some regard. Like I think this record is the most like cohesive to all of our music taste and desired sound. Whereas in the past, it was more like we were we were kind of all at odds with where we wanted to be, where now I think we're really centered in this, and that's who we are. And I think that's probably where we're going to continue to go forward. If anything, the difference will be more in the production and potentially using more electric instruments in the future. We've already discussed that. But really it was just that this is exactly where I think we were aiming to be from the start. It just took a while for us to find that sound, and I think we're finally honing in on it.
You speak maybe to a little bit of each of the four of you, your influences that you all bring that maybe differ from the rest to, bring you up to this more representative and cohesive sound as a band.
Yeah. So me, I mostly really like Modest Mouse, kind of like post grunge and indie alternative rock, like The Killers, The Fray, The Cure. So I like that emo, like Brand New, Sunny Day Real Estate. That's kind of where a lot of my influence comes from.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my influences were like a lot of things that Nick just said I intersect with. But then I think I listened to a lot more like hip hop when I was younger, which made me love low end, and now I'm a bassist, so kind of full circle.
Yeah.
But it's also very jazz influenced, a lot of the rap songs that I liked. So then I started kind of listening to more jazz and trying to like make things more like pretty and complex, and that's like part of the reason why there's less like power chords when I joined the band and more like major seventh chords, so like all that music theory stuff. But yeah, listen to a bunch of different people, from Biggie to Miles Davis to Bill Evans to I don't know, Wallows and Harry Styles. I listen to everything you could think of. Jimmy actually listens to more than me though.
Yeah, I listen.
Jimmy has the most expansive.
Yeah, he does.
I literally like everything to some extent.
But Jimmy's the classic rock guy. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, I mean,
I'm like the pop guy. Jimmy's the classic rock guy.
when he was listening to pop music, I was listening to classic rock, and then in high school, we both kind of started to get into more of like the alternative emo stuff. So like my favorite band growing up was like Pink Floyd, but then when I got into high school, I found out about, usually basically because of Nick. We met really young, I got into bands like Sorority Noise, Modern
Yep,
Baseball,
That's where we all
From
kind of.
Tiger's Jaw.
That's kind of where it all intersected for us, and then I feel like a lot of our
Yeah.
influences kind of started to come in more on
Yeah,
the newer record.
we all like modern baseball, the front bottom.
Yeah, like I
All
think
that kind of
we all do, don't we?
Yeah, that's definitely like where we intersect entirely. For sure.
Absolutely.
We love emo and shit like that.
Similar to me, I've always listened to like a drastically wide range of music. Like I grew up listening to classic rock a lot of like jazz from my drum teacher and stuff like that. Definitely older music. And then as I got into high school, I got into more like pop, EDM, and then from there, like, you know, through college, it's a lot more like indie, alternative rock, kind of discovering these other more like, you know, the bands they were into through the band that I had never really listened to like in high school, got into more music like that as well. And I feel like it's always like changing. I always have like every couple months, new like style I'm into. So, you know, definitely a wide range of influences there as well.
Can you talk a little bit about the songwriting process for the band, specifically for this record? Do you have like one principal songwriter, or is it really a complete group effort? I'd love to hear like how different people are bringing in songs and how you all work together on this new album.
No one really brings songs. It's more like we work together on the songs together. Like especially with this most recent record. Like the early stuff, I had some stuff written, you know, lyric wise and guitar wise. But everybody's always brought their own, you know, their own style, you know, musically. So, you know, when we first started, it was like I had these songs written on acoustic, and that's always how like I started writing music, was acoustic guitar, notepad, boom, like that's the song. So I would bring that, and then once we started getting comfortable like rehearsing together after those first couple shows, we started writing. And a big influence was our friend Tim, who's certainly cannot be discounted.
Fifth spin.
Yeah, he's definitely like truly one of our biggest help. Like if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even
Yeah, we wouldn't be here.
not at all. So he's kind of helped us from the start in terms of we would meet at his house and then record the bass song, you know, just what I had, and then we would add on the additional instrumentation. But that was originally how it went, and then eventually we got to the point where, you know, we were meeting together so much that there really wasn't an outside time for me to work on music like that. Anyways, it just became like we would be hanging, and then like maybe like an idea would spark, you know, the ball rolling on a song or project in general. And then you know, from there it became us just trying to write songs to have music out, and then eventually it became, you know, what it is now, where we just meet up, and if we're in a songwriting phase, then that's what we're doing. We're meeting up and we're just immediately going to work at writing and crafting ideas. Always start with music. I don't write lyrics until we have an idea musically. And that usually starts nowadays with Freddie's drums, maybe Phil's bass. We'll have one idea and then we'll build on top of that. Maybe it's a guitar part. I have a rhythm guitar part that I'm like, okay, record that. And then we're like, oh, like let's throw stuff on top of this. And then once we have a general beat and structure, then we're just like, okay, lyrics. And then from there, I'm just spitting, trying things. I'll look at them and be like, what do you think? You know, they'll point me in a direction.
Yeah.
But these days it's very all in.
Yeah, I feel like it used to be very more normal band writing where like Nick would write them, bring them in, or we would jam as a band, write the song. But I'm a producer and I also make beats and whatnot. So like I kind of am in that mode of like, you know, kind of I make like a 4-bar loop, and then like that's kind of the chorus, and then you take it out
Or
and
the
take
verse.
things out and you make it the verse, whatever. And we kind of start to do that a little bit with this record.
Here's
Like,
the A part, here's
like
the B
if you
part.
listen to You Know What I Mean, like a lot of it they're loops, like they're 4-bar loops and they're looped, and it's like there's something about it that it just like it really allowed us to write it's called New Me. I'm calling it the working title still. But yeah, the song New Me, thank you, Jimmy. It's all kind of based on a loop, and I guess a similar thing with like Flat Out.
Mhm.
One more.
Mhm. I didn't even catch that one.
Yeah, one more. Sorry,
These are working
yeah,
titles.
for years. So like, and I like them better, not to mention, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, I think just modern production techniques kind of came in on this one, and kind of looping things out just kind of gave it a certain sound. And then working with AAD, just like like a lot of things we ended up replaying, and then we play it the whole thing through. But it was just like some things are just a loop, and it got looped, and it's just what worked, and it got us the inspiration to write the indie pop song.
And then lastly, I think the really important part was that in the past, we always kind of went with our instinct. And I think that this record, we kind of humbled ourselves in a lot of ways and just listened to what Ayad had to say, because we know that with his experience and his plethora of artists, he knows what works and what doesn't. So we really humbled ourselves and allowed ourselves to take a more backseat, like we really just listened to a lot of what he had to say.
Yeah.
And really glad we did so.
Yeah, he transformed the songs. If you heard the demos before AAD, they are wow, so different. Like,
Not bad,
not-
just different.
They're like, it's
Not-
funny because you'll hear like one melody and you're like, oh, that's the melody that he keeps repeating, but he only would do it once.
Mhm.
And then it's just like you got to build on top of something so people can remember it, and it's
Yeah.
catchy and it's hooky and people can sing it. And if you don't, I don't know. Everybody has a different way to do it, but AAD was super helpful.
You actually talked about a lot of really interesting aspects there, and a few of the things are like building the songs out of like 4-bar loops, and then in addition, just that collaborative spirit you guys are doing. Like you said, I've talked to a lot of people, and it's not very often that people are building songs together in real time or just off of like a very small snippet. Did you guys have to like have a conversation and say, hey, maybe we need to try this writing to get a more cohesive sound, or did this just all happen naturally? And I guess a follow-up to that would be like, how do you not let your egos get in the way if you're like really attached to a certain part that you may have brought in or come up with on the spot that nobody is digging?
I would say when you're working with a guy who played in Passion Pit, you kind of just listen to what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's
exactly.
a smart guy. He knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
And
kinda
like
trust him.
sometimes like you're kind of paying him for his ideas and his opinions. So if you shut out everything, like yeah, he's recording the music, but like you're missing out on some of the reason why you're working with somebody. Like they have these ideas, and you do kind of need to trust them.
And he's also the middleman. Like you asked, how do you get over that ego thing? It's simply that. It's like it can be difficult, because I think Freddie and I will more often than not be one, like we'll both have really good ideas and just like be like, nah, but this, and then they'll be like, no, like this, I like this better. But then having someone like Ayad allows you to have that final say in a regard. Like
This one's better, that one's
there
better.
was a lot of things that I didn't want to change, for example, because like, ego, for sure. I definitely have an ego when it comes to writing. But Freddie would be like, no, it should be this way. Or Phil would say like, no, it should be this way. And then I'd be like, I don't know. I don't really know what to believe. And then when Ayad would reestablish the same thing, whether it's saying what they said or, maybe bringing up a third idea, that's when we would just agree to disagree and just kind of go with that, because that's the best way to go about it. Although we, more often than not, there are disagreements in writing, but it's a good thing.
It's a band.
Yeah. Yeah, and like as for your question, like I feel like that process for us we've definitely talked about like how to write more effectively together, but I do think that process kind of came about pretty naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, it originally started like during like quarantine. We had already booked the studio time for June that year in 2020.
Yep.
So then we just had all this time where like we were only seeing each other, just working on the album, and that's just kind of how we were writing the songs for that. Like we had just met Phil too, so we'd come down here to his basement and just be like, all right, like we need to come up with a lot of like, let's just keep, every time we get a new idea, just record it, and then we'll go back and make them into songs, and like just kind of kept progressing along those lines to how it is now. But yeah, I mean, like Nick said, I definitely think ego always, it's only natural. It gets involved sometimes. There's definitely like arguments,
Yeah.
but
Disagreements,
you know,
bickering.
yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like
Howdy faces.
that's what makes the you know, that's just like part of the creative process. Like it'll end up being what it's supposed to be. You kind of got to work it out, and like everyone's little suggestion moves the song forward in some way, even if it's just like, oh, he said something that didn't even go in the song, that sparks like another idea for someone else, and then it just keeps going until it like turns into this whole new thing and comes out like good, you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely trust now, because I think back
Yeah.
when we originally started, I don't know if it could have been me like not trusting like other people's opinions in general on music, you know. But as we just have grown together, like I genuinely just trust these guys. Like when they suggest something, they're hearing something that I'm not hearing, or you know, vice versa. So just kind of go with it. I just trust them. Like we all want the same thing. We all want the song to be good and to represent the whole of the band and our mission, you know. So if you know, if someone feels strongly, we just listen now. It's not even an argument most of the time.
Also, I just wanted to add too, it's like we definitely like debated with him when like came to certain
Mhm.
things like adding effects or certain parts, where it's like not even like the effect is a good idea, but what if we just turn it down a bit? You know, like whether it was us bringing it up or him bringing it up, and half the time too, it just happened to be like the only way you can really find out is if you do it.
Yeah.
So then, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want like a cool delay on a part, like you drown it in the delay, and it's like it's not obviously it's too much. But how about we just take it down a little bit, and then you find a sweet spot, and you kind of meet in the middle on things.
I think that's like a really mature approach to it. And, you know, I'm sure it's taken a lot of time for not, you know, not only all of you to get amongst each other, but working with the producer as well. Like, it, you know, like I said, it's a very mature approach. And now, you said, you know, you've worked with other producers in the past. Would you consider, you know, taking that route again of maybe for future releases, switching up producers to try and articulate new sounds? Is that like something you're
Well-
already thinking about?
That's tough, I will say.
Not
Yeah,
personally, not right now.
Not at the
Not
moment.
at the moment.
I won't say it might never. I won't say it
Yeah,
would never happen.
some
'cause
point.
It needs to be a step up.
yeah,
Let's just say that it needs to be an additional step up. If it's
yeah,
if it's even, not even worth it.
yeah.
No, we're really comfortable with AI right now, and
Mhm.
you know, so long as things continue to go well and it's a progressive.
And it adds up. It seems now that I'm looking at it, it seems we made 2 projects with the same producers every time. We did 2 with what's his name? Cooper.
Cooper.
You did 2,
Mhm.
we did 2 with Gary Cioni, and then we did 1 so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
there you go.
I'm so excited to get started on the next record. We already have some like ideas that we've been working on, but we've definitely taken a back. We've definitely not taken an initiative to be writing more recently because there's just so much promotion that goes
content.
Content. But I'm telling you, that's where that's my favorite part of the process is writing. I just can't
Yeah,
wait to
me
get
too.
back into the recording studio and just start hitting
Yeah,
stuff.
like adding layers, making it feel like something.
dying to do it.
Look,
As much as I do love practicing the songs and doing, you know, shows, I really like recording.
A few directions I want to go in. We'll stick with the record that's already out for now. Can you talk a little bit about maybe if there was like a through line or any themes when coming up with the lyrics for this record? Is there like anything that you were particularly trying to get out to the world, or, you know, were you in a particular headspace when writing these lyrics?
Nick is the sole lyric writer, by the way. We didn't say that earlier. We all add to the music, but Nick kind of writes the lyrics and he says, "What do you think?" And maybe we'll deliberate, but it's usually all of him. So
Yeah. I think if I was to say I was in a mood, it would just be heartbreak. I don't. Sometimes I want to stray away from that, but more often than not, like those emotions and those feelings really come forward with music because I guess, you know,
it's all the emo music, Nick.
well, yeah, for me, I guess it's like speaking about those feelings is not something that I get to do. So I guess it comes out a lot in the music. So that's why I think a lot of the songs have like a love lost or a feeling. So like the record being called Left Behind is really symbolic of, you know, just that feeling in general, leaving a relationship, leaving a place, or
Moving on.
yeah, moving on, moving forward with your life, but also reminiscing on past experiences and trying to grow from them. So I think, truthfully, if I, you know, I've never said this, but it's worth saying, I think now, is just, you know, like those developmental periods, like in high school, I think with this one girl, I think it really did like it really is just this one girl, in some regard, you know. But you know, it started, I started writing music, you know, to not only because I liked doing it, but also because, you know, it did harbor some attention from this girl in high school that I really liked. And, you know, a lot of the experience is the reason why some of these songs exist, you know? So yeah, you know, just reminiscing on Love Lost is very, very like representative in all the music.
And I feel like it's so, for me, like Nick's like, I don't want to write love songs. I'm like, but it's so relatable, Nick. It's so relatable. I love love songs. I think they're
to an
great.
extent. I think
mean, yeah, I get it. I'm not the lyric writer.
so. It's just an accident though sometimes, you know, so you can't help but write about that same thing.
You know, I can understand why you might want to be pushing yourself to write other things, but to Phil's point, it is relatable, and also like it's genuine, and I think that comes through in a lot of the music, where it's like you could write a love song and it's just like, yeah, it's the same old thing, but I feel like you, whether it's what you're saying or the music that surrounds it, it does capture the mood of it, and it is, you know, it all ties together and does come off as real and genuine. I think that does go a long way with the listeners.
Appreciate that. You know, that's just the thing. Yeah, sometimes I feel like out of touch writing so much about it, but you know, because there's obviously like a lot of shit going on in the world that you could touch upon, but I also don't really feel I don't really feel like I'm the guy to say it. I guess that also comes from a feeling of like, you know, just you know, I'm just, for example, you know, I won't, you know, there's no denying that, you know, we all, including myself, we exist in, you know, some privilege, you know, in a lot of regards. So it's difficult to touch on social injustices or stuff like that, or it feels awkward maybe, you know, to like, but not to say that there aren't. It's just that I do really like music like that, and you know, I think it's important, sometimes more important, more often than not. But yeah, that's kind of where I think it comes back to that. It's like we can all relate to that. We can all relate to lost love or feelings like that. I do love punk music too, but yeah.
No, for sure, for sure. So with that, you know, album's been out for a little while. Can you talk a little bit about how that reception's been for you guys, you know, and from your perspective, how promoting it has been, and maybe how that's different from the past efforts you got going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the reception's been great. I mean, just as far as like numbers and stuff like that, it's definitely like the best release we put out so far, which is always a good sign. You know, an upward trend, obviously, but you know, everyone's kind of seems to feel a similar way to us, where I think it comes through that it's some of our best work we've put. I mean, I think it comes through about with how much time and effort we put into it. And we have been, you know, treating this promotion a lot different, just trying to do a lot more. Obviously things change too, even more so than the last record. Now you have to be way more active on social media,
Oh yeah.
way more content. So we're trying to keep up with that, do the best we can to like get our names out there, just, you know, make people aware of our music and try to build that following, figure out who it really resonates with so we can keep moving forward. So, you know, we're still working to figure out what works for us the best in terms of promotion, just trying to do as much as we can to find our sweet spot in that realm as well.
Do you guys enjoy any aspect of the content creation? I know for a lot of bands, it's like a labor, and you know, you have to do it because you put so much work into this record. It's like, now I gotta give the promotion its due.
The one thing I'll say is that Freddie made a great point, is that you decide how you want to promote it. It's completely yours. So you can do something that you like to do. It used to be like you used to have to stand outside of a venue. Hey, come to my show, or hey, grab my demo. Da, da, da. It was really hard to get to people. Now you have a pretty easy way, although the algorithm's tough to crack. But either way, if you keep doing it, I think it could happen. So like when it just comes to that, I feel like it's easier now at least. So you just gotta like it can stink, but like you gotta learn to be okay with it and learn that it's just a part of the gig. So people did it before. It just seems different now because it's more short form and different. But somebody was always doing it. Maybe just not the artists themselves, but it's a different age.
Yeah. It's also like, I don't know, I enjoy it. I just look at it as, you know, it's all, I just like being creative and creating things, you know, and you do get to create things in the way that you are kind of shaping how people perceive your music too. You're getting your work out there. I just think like the creative process in general is fun. It's like fun to come up with ideas and make things to get the word out about our music. And you're like building something, and I find that satisfying personally. So I always kind of like, I mean, it can be a pain. Sometimes you do wish, obviously, right, that you could just spend all day working on just music and playing shows, but
it's not that easy.
I don't hate it personally. I like doing a lot of things, you know.
So are you like primarily the content guy? Is that one of the things that you've kind of been helming for the band?
Yeah,
Content manager, if you will.
yeah. I mean, we all kind of like, I'll make all the posts and stuff and do a lot, like almost all the editing and stuff like that. We'll kind of come up with ideas and stuff together. We'll film stuff together for sure. And then I'll just kind of like post it and, you know, organize it, put it together like that.
I personally, I don't dislike it. I have some issues, just like personal issues in terms of putting myself out there. It's something I'm like still trying to get over. I work on all the time, but it's weird. Like, just specifically with the content, I guess a part of me feels like, I don't know. I don't really, if I like a band, I like their music. I don't go looking for their content or anything. So it's a foreign concept to me. So I don't know. For me, I personally am just trying to get better at that. But Freddie is the content guy, and he does a great job.
He does.
I would like to put myself out there more, and I plan on it too in the future more.
It's funny you say that, like, you know, when you're interested in a musician, you're not interested in their content. You just want to hear their music. I totally get that. Like, I don't really like, I follow a band online because I'm like, oh, I gotta see when they're touring or something.
Yeah.
Or dropping new music, yeah.
I think for a lot of casual, and I don't mean like casual derogatory, but people who just enjoy music and it's not like their life, it's the easiest way for them to find new music. It's the easiest way to find a band. It's like some silly little clip goes viral, and it's like you have to learn to put yourself in the mindset of someone you may not relate to and their appreciation of art. It's a very interesting thing to kind of come to terms with.
It is. It's like you have to put yourself in their shoes and present yourself in a way that you think that they'll like. It's so weird. It's bizarre.
You just gotta present yourself how you like it, and they hopefully like it too.
That's true. That's true. But that's the way I'll do mental gymnastics and convince myself it's a lost
But that's
cause.
also
It's like,
what's
how do I know what they'll like? How do I know if they'll like me?
But that's what's nice about the internet, though, is that you don't have to find your audience anymore. Your audience just finds you
Yeah.
at this point. If
Posting the
if you're
same
consistent,
content,
if you're consistent, like people who like it will follow you, and people who don't won't. Like, it's as simple as that.
It's true. It's like with the death of monoculture, there's also been the rise of literally every splinter in subculture known to man, and you can easily have like a sycophantic following who just really loves what you do. Which is like a blessing.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's so many bands I see all the time where I just like come across them. They got like 1 million monthly listeners, like 500,000 followers. I'm like, I've literally never heard about this band in my life.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with Ellie too.
Yeah.
Literally yesterday, like she was like, "Do you know this band?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Really? Like they have like 3 million monthly listeners." And I was like, honestly, like that's not to discount, but it's like I don't know. I think more artists than ever have like 1 million. You know what I mean? And if you look at a band like Coldplay, like what they have like almost 1 billion monthly listeners, and that's the difference. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how I don't know. In a way, it's like the best and it's like the easiest and the hardest time
Hmm.
to be a musician. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's easy because if you find the right thing, you find your niche, cool. But if it's also hard because of
You
the
can't make any money.
yeah, and it's just like how many I don't want to say competition, but you know,
There's so much competition out there now.
Well, yeah,
in
because
that
now
sense.
there's more music released in one day than there was in the whole year 1989.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy to think about.
don't know what to
It's
do
so
about that.
accessible now.
Yeah, I mean, the only real currency for music is your time. It's, it's really not money anymore. It's time. And it's so
Yeah.
hard to capture people's attention spans now.
I know.
Mhm.
It's a battle.
Yeah,
True.
because
It's a battle.
I'm not a super algorithmic,
I don't understand any of that stuff.
yeah, it's
Makes
strange.
no sense to me.
I think there's a lot of people just like I don't know. It's crazy how even myself, I think a lot of people are what do they call them? Like lingerers on social media. Like they'll see things, but people who don't even like stuff anymore. Like
Mhm.
people won't even go out of their way to double tap. Even if they liked it, they'll be like ha ha, ha and just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
My
All about views.
it's weird. It's so bizarre, I mean, I like to if I really like something and I want to support, I will hit that double like. But I know people who genuinely don't like anything. And my one friend Mike told me, he's like, yeah, like I don't like anything except for my girlfriend's like pictures and stuff. I was like, why? Like if you,
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
That's really funny.
It's pretty crazy. Like anything.
He'll send me memes, but he doesn't like anything.
He doesn't like
He doesn't like them.
Yeah.
You gotta let them know this next move, man.
But reaching more people than with the past releases. Have you been able to play a lot of shows to promote the new album? Are you able to get a tour out? What's that potentially looking like?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to do a lot more of that. We are also working with our new producer who's been helping us with more management and stuff as well. We're trying to play more shows, start getting back out there to build our audience. We're in the talks with him to hopefully set something up, like going on a tour, like opening for someone, trying to play more shows ourselves as well. Because obviously that's a big part of it, just getting out there now and like actually playing and like building a new fan base in other cities, branching out of just like local New Jersey. So that's definitely a big focus as well, and something we're trying to move forward with a lot more aggressively now that the album's actually out, because we spent so long on all the other stuff like music videos, finishing the album, the content, all that stuff, where now we're trying to get back into the cycle of being able to like just go play out more, build our audience, start writing new music and all that kind of stuff that comes with it.
So maybe look for something from you guys in 2026 potentially.
Yeah, hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of doing like a little stint in the fall.
Mhm.
That's something I would still really like to do. But that we also have a Halloween show that we plan on bringing back. So we used to do this Halloween with the Spins gig for like 8 years straight, and that was kind of our premiere event every year. We would always host a big Halloween party, and then we kind of stopped for 2 years. So we have that looking forward. We're gonna be doing that at our buddy's place, kind of full circle. It was originally where we had the first one 10 years ago, or nine years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that coming forward, and I think that's gonna be pretty big in promoting the record. But yeah, more than likely 2026 is gonna be touring the new record on top of some writing phases for the next project.
Nice, nice. So when it comes to writing, one of the things that you mentioned before is you've already discussed like getting a few maybe more electronic elements on the album and maybe, looking for some different sounds. Can you just talk about how you're going to be pushing the sounds that we heard from this most recent record into what's maybe to come on future releases?
Yeah, I would really like to incorporate synth or pads into not only the recordings but live performance, because obviously there's definitely some use of that in this record, and truthfully some of the most powerful parts in my opinion. And that's where I started feeling more like we should be pedaling and utilizing that, because it's really powerful, especially because there's certainly a lot to be said about the organic 4-piece band sound. There's a lot in it, and it's established and it's familiar, and I love it. I think a lot of people do, but also I think where I'm coming from now is I want to be otherworldly almost, in regards to the way that we're making the music. I would really like to take a step back with the rhythm guitar and have like a synth, because I can play melodies. I'm certainly not a pianist, but I have the ability to write and use use the piano. So I'd like to do some more electronic stuff in that regard. And then also eventually we definitely got to get some in-ear monitors and have like some backing tracks to really hone it in. Like that would be big. Do you know The Garden by chance?
The band The Garden?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was also huge for me too, because when I started hearing their stuff, I don't know, back in like 2020, like that was pretty impactful. I started, thinking it would be really cool to have like samples. Like I love how they have like a dog, like a dog whistle in their songs and stuff as a sample, or just random things. Like it's definitely cool. Or that Street Fighter grunt. Like when they get hit. And shit. Yeah, perfect. I like that stuff.
I wanted to ask you guys, what made you go with the controversial decision of putting your bassist on the cover of your album?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess we just couldn't find anyone else.
I was the best dressed that day.
The handsomest out of all of us. So
Yeah.
gotta put him on the cover.
Can
He's
you
got
actually can you talk a little bit about, how you guys got that cover? Is that, because it looks, I believe it was a photograph, but it looks like almost like an oil painting. Can you talk a little bit about how that artwork came together?
So big shout out to Benjamin Lieber.
Mhm.
He was the artist the digital artist on that. And then also shout out to our buddy Luke Talmadge, who's our photographer
And videographer a lot of
and
times.
videographer. Yeah, so we were talking about a way to represent being left behind. And so the pickup truck is mine, and we're at our buddy Tim's house in his driveway. It's like a rocky, you see it in the picture. It's just a gravel driveway,
Yeah. Dirt road.
but it's long
Shit.
and definitely has like a vibe. But so the idea was just like, how do we represent being left behind, and so we thought, oh, what better than like having someone drive away from you and like skirting off, shooting up dust at you. And we just didn't really love the background, so we thought we should try and kind of make the background look like otherworldly. So yeah, we went with the oil painting like sun, and that was a lot of Ben's own.
He also did the album cover of our last album.
Not a foot one, yes.
Yeah.
And
that
all
was
those
part of
single
it.
covers.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still on streaming services now, but
No. But yeah, that was a big part of it too. We wanted to kind of like tie our artwork together in a way, because the last album we kind of incorporated like the dog from our first EP cover, and then had that new concept of kind of similar to it was up before, but now we kind of combined them. There's a cover for our EP 4-Day Stay where it's a dude jumping out the window with a briefcase. So we kind of tied those both together in the new album cover. And then we just wanted to keep like some kind of cohesive theme. So we figured we'd put like similarly dressed guy with that briefcase again, kind of tie it in some way. We use the same artist, so it definitely has a similar like feel and aesthetic to it as well. Just to kind of give, I think it's cool when albums kind of have like a cohesive like sort of vibe to them between projects,
No, I love that. That's actually really cool. I didn't realize like that was like trying to pull all that together. I really appreciate that. But I do have to admit, I was on your whatever streaming page the other day, and I was like, where'd the EP with the fucking dog go?
I feel you.
Oh, the one with the dogs back up. The one with the
okay.
dog covers back up. Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
that one was
Damn DistroKid.
No, baby.
No. Well,
TuneCore?
Yeah, a while ago got taken down from I forget what happened. Oh no, yeah.
well, now
We just switched over distributors and it took them like forever to put it back up.
Oh, it took light years.
Yeah.
Especially because to retain the views and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been, we could have just instantly flipped it over, but then it wouldn't have retained all the
Yeah,
views.
the analytics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I really only have one last question. I always like to end these asking about if I were to come to, your city or whatever it is, what is the one restaurant or one type of food I would have to try before leaving?
Oh, where are you from?
So I live in North Carolina, but I'm from Long Island.
Oh, okay. So good pizza.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
I was gonna say you can miss me with the pizza and the bagels. I'm not taking pizza and bagels from New Jersey. No offense.
Yo.
That's
I don't know. They're pretty up here where we are. We got that good we got that
good
woodland
water.
air.
We got that water.
Yeah.
Not good water, that's true.
Yeah, no, I can't deny that most of that is over on the other side. But okay, so if you had to go somewhere and
What was the question one more time, Eric?
Before I left from wherever you guys are, what is like the one meal or one restaurant that I would just have to go to before leaving?
Okay.
yeah, I would say you gotta rip Bubba Coos. I know.
Chain restaurant.
I know that's a good.
Chain restaurant.
Good. I like Bubba Coos. It's a little expensive, but hey, good. It's better than Chipotle.
You've never
Trying
heard
to
of
think of a good
Bubba
place
Q?
around here.
No, I would say like, yeah, you in New Jersey where we are, it'd have to be some kind of like Italian deli. That's what I would say. Just signature. Like I feel like those don't hit the same way outside of New Jersey. Like it's gotta be some kind of like Italian spot. But I don't know which is my favorite. They're all good.
Oh man.
We also get
Yeah,
good Spanish food.
I'm not a huge foodie. I'm kind of just like, I think there's something to say about New Jersey and the quickness of it. I have my friend visiting from Germany, and she's surprised by how like little like emotion there is behind food because it's literally just fuel. Like it's not. I suppose to Europeans, it's like, oh, like I put my love into this, and this food represents like a thing. Whereas, in Jersey, I kind of explain it like everybody's just going a mile a minute. If you could just fit one slice of pizza into your daily routine, like that's good because no one's really so.
I've got traffic to sit through. I don't have time for all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everything's quick. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
any restaurants, I don't even know to not go with the chain restaurant. There's this really good place in Pompton called Jardín Latino, and they make really good Mexican food, and it's pretty cheap, and it's all homemade, really good stuff. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Nice.
I will say Don Jose. They're really good.
I don't know that place.
They're a chain, but they're only.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like a family.
No, I'd go to Burger King for the fries and McDonald's for the burgers. For sure.
On the spot.
That's insane.
So before I let you guys go, with the last minute or so here, is there anything you'd like to so nicely shill to the audience?
Yes. Yeah, I will say follow us on social media. The Spins are a band. The Spins AREA band. On all platforms. On TikTok, we do a live stream every Tuesday night starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Actually on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube.
7:30.
Yeah, where we, chill with the audience, talk to the chat, play some covers, originals, take requests. It's a fun time. So definitely say check that out. It's always fun. We got a good community over there. And other than that, you can follow us, keep up to date with everything we're doing on Instagram is the best platform for that when we're putting out new music or playing shows or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And check out the new album on Spotify, obviously. Left Behind by The Spins.
And all the music videos,
True.
because we have like 5 or 4 now.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
Halloween show.
Yeah.
Ah, Eric, so
Yeah,
good.
Halloween-
And the Halloween with the spin show.
I don't know.
TBA soon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be announced.
We always do the Saturday before Halloween. Generally, that's like the 28th, about that or so. So it'll be the Saturday before. We always do that.
Well,
Nice.
probably not doing that this year.
Why not?
Because the Friday is Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be the 31st or November 1st. That's Halloween weekend this year.
Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Either way. But
Well,
there you
thank
go.
you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate you doing
Thank
this.
you, Eric. This has been great.
You guys were great, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having us
Hell yeah,
again,
man.
man.